welcome to Manga Corp. If you enjoy stories like this, hit that like button and subscribe.
Okay, so imagine this. King Prasenajit, ruler of Kosala, is just chilling, fast asleep in his royal bedroom. Suddenly, he wakes up to this crazy bright light. Like, his guards' swords are glittering, deadass lighting up the whole room. He's like, what the actual F is happening? The next moment, everything goes dark again, leaving him wondering if it was just a nightmare. But the next morning, all his doubts vanish when his courtiers confirm the same thing happened across the entire kingdom. At that exact same moment, the royal priest Garga and his wife are celebrating the birth of their new baby boy. Garga's happy, but also low-key worried about those strange lights that appeared right after his son was born. So, he consults a learned old astrologer who drops a bomb. His son is destined to be a robber, a menace to society. Garga connects the prophecy to the glittering weapons and immediately goes to King Prasenajit. He's like, "Your Majesty, I can't raise a son who's going to be a menace. The scriptures say one life can be sacrificed to save 100. He asks for permission to put his own baby to death. But the king is like, "No, I won't allow the killing of an innocent baby." He says Lord Buddha taught him to believe in the innate goodness of every living creature. He tells Garga to give his son a sound education, believing he'll grow up to be a good citizen. So, the baby, named Ahimsaka, grows up to be this super intelligent boy, totally dedicated to studying scriptures. Everyone's like, no way this kid could ever become a robber. The prophecy must have been a mistake. When Ahimsaka is about 14, he asks his father for permission to go to Takshashila for higher learning. Garga gives him his blessings, and Ahimsaka leaves, with villagers still thinking the prophecy was wrong. He arrives at Takshashila and becomes a disciple of a great scholar. Ahimsaka quickly masters everything, winning the master's heart, who praises him constantly. He's like, "Look at Ahimsaka. He's mastered in a short time what you guys couldn't in 3 years. He has a great future." But this, of course, makes the other disciples hate him. They get super jealous. They start plotting to turn the master against his favorite student. They stage a little drama, talking loudly about how Ahimsaka is a greater scholar than the master, making sure he overhears. The master starts getting paranoid, thinking Ahimsaka might surpass him, and even wonders if his own wife respects Ahimsaka more. He becomes consumed by jealousy, thinking Ahimsaka might make him an outcast. He decides, whatever the truth may be, Ahimsaka will have to go. He catches Ahimsaka, and the master's wife, deeply engrossed in discussion, and stealthily enters the room. He yells at Ahimsaka, accusing him of arrogance and forgetting to acknowledge his guru. He tells Ahimsaka he has no place here, and to leave. Ahimsaka is expelled, and the other disciples are low-key gloating over their successful plot. Ahimsaka returns home to Shravasti, but his father Garga is furious. Ahimsaka tries to explain he was sent away and incurred his master's displeasure, but Garga doesn't want to hear it. His father yells, "Don't show me your accursed face. Go away from here." Ahimsaka is completely lost, wondering what he did to deserve such a fate. He tries to make a living with the little knowledge he has, but his efforts are futile. No one will employ a youth who incurred the displeasure of his master. He's shunned by everyone, with villagers slamming doors in his face, calling him polluted. He's just walking, thinking about how his master sent him away. His father wouldn't listen, and everyone's rejecting him. Suddenly, a man with a sickle confronts him, demanding he surrender everything if he values his life. Ahimsaka, full of rage from all the rejection, fights back, screaming about how he's the one who's been sinned against. He beats the robber, who begs for mercy. And in that moment, something snaps in Ahimsaka. He decides he'll become a highway robber, taking revenge on the society that rejected him. He immediately attacks a line of bullock carts, brutally defeating multiple men. He's just one man, but he takes them all down. He stands over the dead bodies and says something absolutely chilling. "I will keep their angulus, their fingers, and make a garland of them." Soon, villagers are talking about this monster who wears a strange garland, calling him Angulimala. He continues his reign of terror, jumping onto bullock carts, sickle in hand. He laughs, telling terrified merchants there's no escape from him. He leaves behind a trail of dead bodies for the vultures, mocking a man who begs for his life for his little son. He's like, "You want to live for your son? And I want to kill you for your little finger." King Prasenajit is desperate, sending his forest guards to capture the notorious murderer. But Angulimala just laughs, thinking, a whole army of them. Good. That means more fingers for my garland. He ambushes the guards with a massive boulder, then attacks them with his sickle, easily defeating them. The king is helpless, forced to warn his people to avoid the roads where Angulimala roams. Angulimala, meanwhile, is just thinking his garland has begun to wither, and he needs new fingers. Then, he sees a lone monk walking down the path and thinks, "My prayer has been heard." He yells at the monk to halt, but the monk just keeps walking, calmly. Angulimala runs after him, sickle in hand, but he can't catch up, even though the monk is just walking. Finally, exhausted, Angulimala demands, "Oh monk, stop moving." The monk replies, "I am not moving. I am at rest. It is you who are in perpetual motion." He tells Angulimala his mind is not at rest, that he's yet to find peace. Angulimala is enraged when the monk calls him "my child," thinking he's being mocked. He screams, "Don't you know who I am? I want your little fingers." The monk calmly says, "Take them, my son, if it makes you happy." Angulimala raises his sickle to strike, and the monk says, "By all means do, my son, if it brings you peace of mind." And just like that, Angulimala drops his sickle. He kneels before the monk, calling him master. He cries, promising to never kill again. This monk, who is Lord Buddha, takes Angulimala back to the monastery as a new disciple. Buddha introduces him as yet another brother, Angulimala. Soon after, King Prasenajit arrives with his entire retinue, ready to lead an expedition to exterminate Angulimala. He asks Buddha for his blessings. Buddha asks what he'd do if Angulimala gave up violence and became an ascetic. The king says he'd salute him, but honestly, he can't imagine Angulimala as an ascetic. Buddha then points to Angulimala, who is calmly watering plants in the background. The king is absolutely shocked. He admits Buddha achieved what his entire army couldn't, winning Angulimala without lifting a finger. Angulimala, now a monk, lives a life of service, fanning a sick old man and offering rice to an orphan. He's just trying to do good. He's fanning an old man who tells him he's feeling better. He offers more rice to a young orphan boy who blesses him and his parents. But then, the orphan boy tells him his father is dead, killed by the wicked Angulimala. Angulimala is devastated, just saying, "Oh." The boy points at him, calling him a murderer, and a mob of villagers gathers, also calling him a murderer. Angulimala is distraught, feeling his hands are stained with blood, that he's a sinner without a future, without hope. Buddha comforts him, saying repentance is the only fire capable of burning sins, and he's on the right path. Angulimala kneels, finding solace in Buddha's words. Buddha tells him repentance is the only way. Later, as Buddha and Angulimala walk through a forest, they hear cries of pain. They find an old woman and her daughter who is in agonizing labor. The old woman explains they were on their way to town, but her daughter is dying. Buddha tells Angulimala to bless the woman, saying, "When I killed people, I did so out of ignorance. If I speak the truth, let the woman get well." Angulimala hesitates, like, how can I, a ruthless murderer, save her? But the old woman begs him to save her daughter. He touches the young woman's forehead, repeating Buddha's words, adding, "I don't know if I had killed with full knowledge." And just like that, the woman immediately delivers a healthy baby. The old woman thanks him, asking for blessings for the child, and Buddha tells her Angulimala will bless him. Buddha tells Angulimala, "Son, you no longer need me. You must walk alone in the world." Angulimala is finally convinced he has overcome his past deeds, thanks to Buddha. He prostrates himself, declaring, "Bodham Sharanam Gacchami." I take refuge in the Buddha. He walks into the city, but villagers immediately recognize him. They panic, thinking he's Angulimala in disguise, here because people no longer use his haunts. They scream, "Run for your lives! Angulimala is coming." But then, some decide, "No, we shall not run away. We will kill him before he kills us all." A mob of angry villagers runs towards him, some with weapons. A stone hits his forehead, drawing blood, but he keeps walking calmly. He bends down to a child offering rice, and the villagers are confused when he kisses the child instead of strangling him. He continues walking, injured and distressed. The mob attacks him, hitting him hard, asking why he doesn't fight back. He's on the ground, severely injured and bleeding, crawling as they curse him. Buddha reaches out to him, calling him "my child." Angulimala crawls to him, his last words, "Buddham, Sharanam, Gacchami." Buddha asks if he was angry when they beat him up. Angulimala replies, "No, father. When I killed people, I did not know what I was doing. Similarly, they too did not know what they were doing." He says he feels better than he ever has before, at peace with the world. And with that, Angulimala, the man who once terrorized a kingdom, finally found his peace, but the scars of his past and the world's judgment were etched into his very last breath.